Okay, welcome. I'm Luca the Rio. Today I would like to show you Real IES and Unity and obviously the photometric profile, how it's supposed to work inside Unity 2020.2. Now, starting from Unity 2020.2 beta, Unity developed a set of tools that are capable to import a photometric file, like the IES file that I'm going to show you today. So here I open the scene. Actually, I downloaded the project. I opened the default project when you start a new project by using Unity from the Unity Hub. You can decide the version. So I have 2020.2.7. And I decided to work with a high-definition rendering pipeline that is a part of this scriptable rendering pipeline, where you can benefit of massive rendering capabilities of the software. So what I did here actually is just importing the project, and I imported a photometric file created by Real IES, and we are going to see it together. Actually, let me open the Real IES file that I made so you can see how it looks. This is Real IES 3.2, so it's the newest version where we can craft and we can produce some photometric profiles by using the sliders here to define the intensity, the candelas per angles actually, and we can define the flux, the lumens, and other stuff. Well, this is Unity. So here in the scene, this is how the game is going to look. I prefer to work with the scene so we can navigate. And yeah, this is it. Let me make the gizmos smaller, or even I can even turn them off in the moment. So we have some decals, we have reflection, we have auto camera exposure, we have this room. I don't know if you already downloaded this scene. If you didn't, please do so. It's fantastic, and you can see a lot of features related to the volumes framework, the volumetric, the VFX editor, and so on. So their scene is made by multiple chambers, multiple rooms where we can move, and we have various details. So I would like to show to you the spotlights and how they work here inside. So I need my gizmos once again, and let me take this spotlight cone. Now I'm going to destroy a little bit the scene, but I want you to see spotlight nearby the wall. So you see the light is a part of the directional light. Actually is a cone light, is a spot cone light, but is a directional light, right? So we can define the direction of the light source. We are not talking about a spherical light or another kind of light. And this light is defined by a direction, obviously, and a cone. And the cone can have a certain angle. So it can be very narrow or it can be very wide. So this is up to you. And this is what you usually do when you work and when you author lighting in your scene by using Unity. But starting from this version with a high definition rendering pipeline, we also have the IES profile that I suppose it should be visible by default. So you have this IES profile even if you are not in the advanced mode. So what is the IES profile? Well, the IES profile is an external file, it's an external asset that contains multiple intensities according to the various angles defined in your directional light cone spotlight. So the IES file practically is an external asset, as I told you, that is parsed now in this new version of Unity. This one here that I imported before starting the recording is manufactured by Real IES, and we have some default settings that Unity used to import the file. So I would say that they are fine. Maybe you can play a little bit with the resolution if you want to have a higher resolution, or if you want to see something that is, let's say, better defined, although I don't think is strictly necessary. So for today, I'm not going to mess with this parameter. And practically, what we have from the Real IES parser is a cube map. So thank you Unity for creating this part, because it was part of the plan in the development of Real IES to create an automatic cube map extractor. While thank you, really, because now the IES file made by Real IES can be used inside Unity without having to create the toolset for unpacking them in a cube map. So, okay, this is the part of the story. Now, how does it work? Well, when you select your light in the inspector, the IES profile now is empty. And if you drag and drop your IES, boom, you can see some changes. I'm not promising that they are going to be super cool on the beginning, but we have some changes. So now we have the cookies and the IES profile both together. The cookie was an older version implemented by Unity to filter somehow the projector. So your spotlight was not creating just a spot where the light was hitting the surface, but was creating something more. It's like a mask somehow. Let me show you the default spot cookie. This is the default spot cookie. So it's imagine this as the spot created by the spotlight hitting a surface. Okay, so where you see dark pixels, the light is going to be masked. Where you see bright pixel, the light is not going to be masked. So this is like a sort of torchlight effect, you know, when you have the glass and you have the reflector inside, and so your light is not perfectly uniform on a surface. So there are a lot of first-person shooter video games or horror game where you are in the total obscurity and you have to use your torchlight to see around what is going on, and there is this effect to make the torchlight more photorealistic. So nothing wrong with the cookies. You can still use the cookies. You can now also use the IES profile. You can also use both of them. This is, I don't know if I can recommend it by default to use both of them, because you don't have the exact control on what is going on, because the IES is already somehow masking the light direction. So if I put my light very close to the surface, you can see that the rays of light, they are attenuated according to the angle. So we can say that here the light is more intense than in this precise angle, while the light is also more intense in here. So yeah, it's like the cookie somehow on the projection on the surface, but this also happens on the, you know, on the linear development of the light on the various surfaces. The cool part on Real IES, I suppose, is that you can see your light as it is going to be. Now this is the real light, while in the cone we are changing the angle. So if you have a wider angle, and this is amazing inside Unity, because somehow it's remapping the angle. So my angle, I don't know, the angle of my light should be something like so, right? They somehow look similar, not identical, because of course we have ambient light and shading, but well, here we have total obscurity, but still we can see the decay of light here. And in Real IES you also have the light graph. So if you are confused by the light cone, the sort of volume of the cone, the brightness of the light, but you want to see it more technically somehow, you have here a graph defining how the light is behaving. Now in Real IES there are two graphs actually. There is the yellow graph and the blue graph. They are related with the intersecting plane of your light. So practically, if you have the light seen from the side, okay, we can say that this is the yellow plane and this is the blue plane. So your light is not fully symmetrical. I mean, if you don't want your light to be fully symmetrical, you can have an asymmetrical light. We have symmetry on the plane, but we don't have symmetry on the entire revolution of the light. So yeah, this is the light. If you want to make it more intense, you have to be very careful in Real IES with the first two values, because the candela intensity is very sensible on this angle. So probably what I would suggest you is to type here inside the amount of candelas you want, like 500 candelas, and then you want to quickly move to 1500 candelas, and then you want to let's say drop to 750, and then again move to, if possible, 2500. Now there are some values that are not possible in Real IES, so the values are clamped with the mathematical maximum value you can have for that specific angle. And yeah, after doing so, you can simply save the file, you can overwrite your file, click on yes, and Unity should, when focused, boom, re-import the light. Now, it didn't change much, I understand this, because the light somehow was quite similar, I didn't change it so much. But by using the light graph, that is the granular light spikes, that is a modifier that we have inside Real IES, you can have a noisy result. So the higher the value, the noisier is going to be your result, while with 0% practically you have no noise. Here there are some markers with the suggested maximum values. Let's try to push it higher to see what is going on. So let me save the file once again, overwrite, yes, focus on Unity, and boom, this is our light. Now what we can see is that we have more variation and more detail. Obviously our light is, the dominant structure of our light is still the same, but we have more control on the various angles, you see. What is very cool about Real IES, well, let me say, is somehow the licensing model. That is, if you purchase the license of Real IES, you have the updates for free. I mean, you already purchased, obviously, it's not free, the tool, but for every new release, you have the right to download and use it. And also what you create here inside is not dependent on third-party copyright. Let's say you can find IES profiles online out there, but it's up to you, the risk to download third-party, let's say unknown IES profile or well-known IES profile manufacturer. They are usually sharing with you the IES profile with the purpose of lighting design, fixture design, interior design, rendering and pre-visualization to know how the light of that specific fixture is going to behave on your interior, excuse me. But I cannot guarantee that you have the right to resell or to share or to publish something with what you downloaded for free. While with Real IES is absolutely fine. So practically you are starting from nothing, you are creating your own profile, you are saving your profile, and you have any right to use this profile. Also with the updates that I was mentioning earlier, people who purchased the Real IES 1 about 5 or 6 years ago are still upgrading their license to Real IES 3, soon Real IES 4, we don't have a timing for that, but Real IES 4 at a certain moment will be a reality, probably just after the release of Real PBR, that is another tool of ours, and yeah, free of charge. So even if the price changes, and the price changed from Real IES 2 to Real IES 3 when the software was rewritten, there was no extra charge for the upgrade. So feel free to download it for every new update that we release. Of course, if you have the first purchasing license, you can purchase as many seats you want. There is no minimum amount, so you can purchase just one. And also the licenses are portable, so you can move it from one computer to another. So let's say you are willing to work during the weekend and you are not in the office, okay, that's fine. You can move your license from one computer to another. It's important that you do so. I mean, the only limitation is that you can do it once every 24 hours, you know, otherwise there will be an out of control situation where the same license can be on multiple machines. Well, you can understand this. Now, okay, so this is what can happen with the IES profile versus the normal profile or the one with the cookie. Let me then create a new scene. I create a basic indoor still H definition rendering pipeline. So create, and no, I don't want to save. And this is indoor scene, yeah. And let's see what we have here. So usually when we create a new scene, we are in total obscurity. Somewhere there should be the light. Let's find it with a hierarchy. And excuse me, this is the spotlight as they appear by default, you know, this the uniform spotlight. So again, let me explain again about the cookie very quickly. Just to remind you what can be done with the cookie. The cookie is a way to mask the ending result. This is quite cool. But instead, if you want now, you can use the IES profile. Let me import what we did earlier. So this is the IES profile. So I promise you that I was not going to mess up with the importing setting, but actually I think I needed to change a little bit. So if you see that the IES profile, the quality is not so cool. It's not the fault, well, it's fault of nobody actually. It's just how the file was compressed when it was imported. So here you have some option and you can increase the resolution. Of course, increasing the resolution, you're changing, remember, the resolution of the cube map. So the higher, somehow the better, but not so good for the texel right on your graphic card. What I wanted to show you here in conclusion is the possibility to turn on volumetric. So if we don't see the volume, probably we don't have in the fog volumetric fog. Okay, we need just to change probably, yeah, the intensity. So here we have a volumetric light. Let me change also the fog distance, so 12. And again, moving back to the light, I can change the intensity. Now I'm going to exaggerate to 2500 lumens, and we need to change the range, otherwise the light is going to touch the ground. So here we have a beautiful volumetric light obtained by using IES profile. So you see how the volume is masked. And I'm not fully sure this can be done with the cookies. Let me check. Yeah. As I expected, yeah, well, there is something noticeable with the cookies. It's not exactly identical, but there is something. So let's, I want my light to be a reflector. Yeah. So once again, if you want to change your light, now let me do something totally crazy. So something that is very, very strange scenario. Now, when you change the light intensity, remember that the intensity is proportional. So if we have this light at, let's say, 1000 candelas, okay, this is the range in 1000 candela, and this range is 1800 candelas, right? But if I change this candela and I arrive to 1800, you see that everything is part of the sort of hemisphere, semicircle that we can have here, while if I increase here, instead of having too long and out of range scale, Real IES is automatically rescaling down everything for you. So you always have the visualization here inside the place. So this value is not fixed value, it's a proportional value, it's a dependent value according to your range. So if you increase the value here, certain moment you see how it changes. This is quite comfortable. We decided to keep everything. So practically it's like if the camera is zooming out to fit the entire lamp for you inside the preview area. So this is the lamp. This is not the lamp I wanted. I promised you something quite crazy, so let's try something like so. And well, this has no symmetry, so you don't see the blue range. So the blue range is going to be saved for us automatically by the exporter. So in this way we have a light that is with full range. And let's just remember to keep up the outer angle. And here we go. So let me reopen the IES file so we can see everything properly, how it should be. Yeah, now they are overlapping the two layers. Last word about the light list. If you would like, you can also change the values not only here. So let's say here, as I told you, we can have 3000 candela, right? But if you want to change something between 0 and 3000 candela, you can find here the values. So where you have 1500, you can type, I don't know, 750, insert, and you don't see the change here, and nor in the light cone, but in the light graph, yes, there will be the difference. So by changing them, you can create a custom light, and you see now we already have a difference between the yellow and the blue. So we have a non-symmetrical light on the various planes. So okay, I hope this was enjoyable and interesting, especially interesting and useful. I used a lot of your time, so I want also to respect your time. I think 20 minutes, excuse me, for this explanation is more than enough. I invite you to watch other videos on our channel, of PlaySys channel on YouTube, where you can find other explanation about Real IES with 3ds Max, Arnold, V-Ray, Unreal Engine, Corona Renderer, and other tools. Don't forget to like this video if you liked, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and see you next time.